the entirety of the Russia collusion conspiracy theory, which is what it was. We now know that based on all the facts, based on exhaustive investigation, a conspiracy theory that has destroyed, for anyone who is honest and serious, destroyed the pretense that the media has that they're not partisans, that they don't take a particular side of these political arguments. That's gone. I mean, it has been gone for a long time if you've been paying close attention. But after Russia collusion, we know that no longer exists. But we found out that there was spying, right? We found out that there was spying, and then they said the spying was duly predicated. It was acceptable. It was fine. It was necessary, in fact. Necessary to protect the republic. Spying on a presidential campaign, my friends. Attorney General Barr has said it. God bless him for standing behind that assessment of what is clear, bold reality. Obama's top national security officials engaged in spying on the Trump campaign, on an official connected to the Trump campaign, including all the communications of everybody that he was talking to, looking to see what was going on there for 8 months. And they've told us all along, oh, well, it was necessary. And then they said, okay, it was necessary, but there might have been some mistakes in the process. This is what came after the Inspector General report. Might have been some mistakes in the process, but ultimately it was all legitimate. And there was no political bias. This is what they tell us. No political bias. Turns out that's a little bit untrue. There was no problem with any of this, that this was duly predicated and legitimate investigation. Story up today. Carter Page FISA warrant lacked probable cause, the DOJ has admitted in a declassified assessment. At least 2. Remember, there are 4 FISAs on Carter Page. Each one is 2 months long, have to be renewed. At least 2 of them, the Department of Justice has now had to come forward when they're doing this review internally of their FISA procedures, were illegitimate. That means that they continued to spy on an American citizen tied into a presidential campaign. American citizen who has never, not only have they never brought a charge against him, they've never even been able to insinuate, as slimy as McCabe and Weissman and these other left-wing hacks trying to take Trump down are. They've never even been able to produce the beginnings of evidence that Carter Page was disloyal to his country or even considered being disloyal to his country. Carter Page is one of the most unfairly maligned people in America of the last, decade. People still call him a traitor. I was in the green room at Fox News not long ago with a female Democrat contributor who was still saying Carter Page is a traitor. I don't care what the report says. Well, what are we going through all this for then? Well, this is where the Democrats are, though. They've constructed all these narratives. They believe them. They've tied their identity to it. They believe so strongly in Trump as a traitor to his country and that other people around him worked with Russia to steal the election, that they'd rather continue to believe that than accept that they were duped and they're just not that smart. Because they just aren't that smart. And people never want to believe that. Much better to deny evidence than to accept the reality of just not nearly being as clever and bright as one had thought before. Humility is a beautiful thing. Humility is something that we should all embrace, especially when we need a little humility, when we deserve it. Libs don't do that, though. Better to double down. Continue with an air of unearned intellectual superiority. All the virtue signaling they've done on this and so many other issues, when the facts are clearly against them, just ignore the facts. Get more angry, become more shrill, yell louder. Carter Page is a traitor, they say. Based on what? Now the Department of Justice. This just came out last 24 hours. 2 of the 4 FISA warrants were not predicated properly. That means there was no justification for them.